Alan, if you were knighted, what would the Queen say to you?
Arise.
No, she wouldn't.
Are you sure she doesn't say, no, I'm sorry, I have to draw the line somewhere?
Oh, very
Well, after his name, for which we'll say Alan, after Alan's name is announced, the knight-elect, Alan, kneels on a knighting stool.
What are the chances?
You never know.
I wouldn't turn it down, I'm not posh.
In front of the Queen, who then lays the sword blade on the knight's right and then left shoulder.
But like a cheer.
That's it. After he has been dubbed, the new knight stands up. Contrary to popular belief, the words "Arise, sir," ... are not used. The Queen then invests the knight with the insignia of the order to which he has been appointed, a star or badge, depending on the order. By tradition, clergy receiving a knighthood. What's the difference when clergy are knighted, if they happen to be?
They kneel on a corgi.
No, there's no sword.
There's no sword. You can't take a sword to a clergyman.
Exactly.
Daffodil.
You'd take a dagger, wouldn't you? Yeah, exactly. A scimitar or an axe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The strict meaning of the word accolade is the salutation given on the bestowal of a knighthood, from the Latin meaning of an embrace around the neck, around the coll, as in collar. But do you know about degradation? And that's when you have your knighthood taken away. The last public one was in 1621, when Sir Francis Mitchell was found guilty of grievous exactions and had his spurs broken and thrown away, his belt cut and his sword broken over his head, and was then pronounced to be no longer a knight, but a knave.
Oh.
All by the king.
Yeah, it would have been James I, wouldn't it? Yes. Wow.
It's when she did Alan Sugar, did he go, you're fired?
You're degraded. You are a knave. What does the moon smell like? Yes, Joe.
Does it smell of Buzz Aldrin's underpants?
It might.
Did he crap himself there and bury some?
Well, one of them obviously did, didn't they? Wouldn't
Crap
you?
himself there and buried some.
I did that as a child. I pooed in my pants and buried them in the garden. But when I went back to check on them a few weeks later,
They'd gone.
they'd
You could have sold them. People advertise for dirty underpants in the backs of magazines.
Not in the Spectator, they don't. All I can say.
What's the moon smell of? Cheese.
Oh, Joe, you are sweet.
I thought that was hanging over us.
It was hanging over us now. Get some points back if you know how many humans have walked on the moon.
12.
Absolutely. You both said it simultaneously and you both get 5
Difference
points.
is, I guessed.
Well, you still get the points. Anyway, apparently it smells of gunpowder. Lots of moon dust came back in the module back to Earth, and it's that mixture of silicon and iron and magnesium and calcium that marks out Special K, amongst other things, I think, that is also present in moon dust.
What's it taste of?
Wensleydale.
But what was Darwin's problem with brown owl, and why did he not describe it?
Now, clearly, if one makes a joke about Girl Guides here, like he was traumatised during a period in the Girl Guides.
Before...
Help me now.
We even predicted your mistake, because I think brown owl brownies.
Yeah. He must have died before...
Before the brownies existed, exactly.
He probably ate it or something.
Ah! So he ate brown owls, you're saying?
Well, actually, he didn't, because he described it as indescribable, which is why he didn't describe the brown owl. Well, actually, as food, he meant, because Charles Darwin, one of the greatest scientists, one of the greatest men, really, of any age, was considered a very dim pupil and couldn't spell and was terrible at arithmetic and went to Cambridge. The only subject his father thought was fit for him was divinity. And he spent his time chasing rats and shooting and looking at animals and eating strange animals. He was a member of the Gourmet Society, or the Gluttons, as it was known at Cambridge, and their aim in life was to eat as many rare and peculiar animals, like bitterns and hawks. But brown owl, they didn't like it all, and all the others became bishops and archdeacons.
Does this still exist, this club?
Exists? Stephen's the president of it.
Yeah, I wonder why is he writing invited me round for fox en creme, mate.
I drink panda. That's the... Oh, it's lovely.
I've got a book at home. It's equivalent to the Collins Book of Birds from 1850. And after describing each bird, at the end it will say, for instance, a buzzard tastes a little bit milder than a golden eagle. Yes. But still quite palatable.
Does it have a wine recommendation at the bottom? You suggest a Chablis or a New World Merlot.
Do you know what you should drink with the beating heart of a cobra? And this is a dish in China where you get a cobra and it's brought to the table alive. They then slice it open, rip the heart out, and it's beating on the plate there. You have to chase it around the plate, I suppose. And then you drink the blood of the snake as the wine.
Actually, I ordered the lasagna.
What's the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten, Alan?
Earwax.
Your own? It was your own, that's all.
It's really horrible.
Picture.
I mean, even just a tiny bit on the end of your fingers.
Sweet and sour.
Imagine if you had to have a sandwich of it. Really like a block of it.
Anyway, a phylum feast is held on the 12th of February every year by zoologists and biologists, in which they try and eat as many different species as possible, in honour of Charles Darwin, whose birthday that was. Why do children play with their food? The sixth child of Sigmund Freud was called Anna Freud, and she took up her father's beacon of battiness. She was the first person to write about denial. That's Sigmund on the right.
For me, playing with food came out of being deprived in Liverpool when there were no toys.
So did you make sort of things out of meatballs instead of Lego?
Mum used to put a plate of turnip tops and cockles.
So, as a youth, your toys were cockles?
My first toy was toy cheese. for Christmas. Honestly, that was a metal-like cheese portion, which you used to wind up, I remember this, on the lino, and put it down. I used to make, like, cheesy movements.
Cheesy movements. That is a very good reason to play with foods, and it makes me all the sicker at the weirdness of Anna Freud. Anna Freud believed, by playing with their food, they were really playing with their excrement.
The thing is, a child could play with its excrement...
If it wanted to.
If it wanted to.
Of all human phases that you're in, lower infancy is the one where you can most get away with playing with your excrement.
Oh, he's got his hand in his nappy again. But that's the one thing that we don't touch.
The Freud family is a good example. Anna Freud suffered from depression all her life and never had children.
Sigmund Freud was terrified of the number 62, and so he refused to ever stay in a hotel that had more than 61 rooms in case he got number 62. And the first time after he'd made this rule, the first room that he was booked into was number 31. And he went, oh, see? Half of 62.
Yeah, but 62 rhymes with poo. 6 looks like a poo, pursued by a swan.
You know, one of the things that people say is sort of a test of whether you're anal is whether you keep your records in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
All that, and I think, well, surely it depends on how many records you've got. I mean, if you've just got 2 and you keep going back and checking, you're going, oh, ABBA, ZZ Top, they're still there, that's all right. I've got a room full of bloody records. I keep them in alphabetical order so I can find the one I want. Apparently it means I've got a problem with my arse. How is that?
I shouldn't think, in her time, they had alphabetic spaghetti.
That's true.
Which was the main reason I play with my food every breakfast.
I just insert my meatballs up my arsehole whenever they turn up on the plate.
And if they want to call you anal, it's up to them.
It's in their court. The ball is in their court.
The ball is up your arse. Ineffably, imponderably stupid and wonderful. Each one of you here, you should find you have a picture, which is a picture of a genuine United States Patent Office patent application. Arthur, have a look at yours, shall we? And Clive, yours looks like this. And Vic. And Alan, you've got a picture too.
Oh, it's some sort of electrified Christmas stocking. It's a shoe bomb. Why why would you want an electrified Christmas stocking anyway?
It's a Santa Claus detector.
Oh, of course.
It's got a motion detection. You hang it amongst your other stockings, and when Santa Claus comes, it triggers a light and an alarm.
There's no such thing as
I
Santa.
know there isn't.
Waste of time.
Waste of time. Clive.
This looks like a bra where you've got a little nozzle and you can blow down it to inflate the bra. So this is clearly designed for a woman who maybe thinks one of her...
with no arms.
Oh, yes, I wasn't going to mention that. She's got one breast she feels is slightly smaller than the other, but she doesn't make a big thing of it, except when she's walking past somebody who she fancies, so she can quickly and surreptitiously and inflate the breast.
It's odd enough, your breath was going in the wrong direction. You were blowing when you should be sucking.
So you suck...
You basically have drink in your bra. And you can surreptitiously suck your drink out of it.
It's only going to be for red wine, though, isn't it? Because it's going to be too warm for white wine or beer or...
Oh, what about Ovaltine?
Oh!
Can I have one of those Ovaltine bras that I've heard so much about? She came in here reeking of Ovaltine.
What's yours, young Arthur?
Yes. I remember Clive Anderson in his 30s. And, I can't hardly believe it, but maybe someone has actually patented the comb over.
You're absolutely right. On May the 10th, 1977, Frank Smith from Orlando, Florida, filed a patent for a method of styling hair to cover partial baldness using only the hair on a person's head.
But why is his head the colour of a baboon's arse?
Have you got the full details of this that I could take away and study just for general interest?
If you look at this picture, though, what you'll see is a horse with its tail. And that's just the end of it.
Yes.
Vic, what have you got for us?
This is a device for sucking those special gases out of a U-bend. And it looks like an actual pan that's filled with some sort of worms, which probably create the gas in the U-bend.
Well, you're more or less right. It is a device for allowing you to breathe in the event of a fire in a hotel room. You pop it. It's called the toilet snorkel.
So your last moments before the fire burns your backside off, you spent sucking in basically lavatory air.
Lavatory air.
Darling, I smell fire. Where's the toilet snorkel?
The Great Fire of London destroyed 13,200 houses, 87 churches, 44 livery halls, and over 4/5 of the city of London with a capital C. How many people died in that 5-day conflagration?
I think it's 4 people. It's some very low figure of...
I'm going to give you the points because
Yes.
it's 5 people.
5 people, oh, well...
Yeah, very good. Very good. Only 5 are recorded. The maid of the baker who started the fire, Paul Lowell, a Shoe Lane watchmaker, an old man who rescued a blanket from St Paul's but succumbed to the smoke, and 2 others who fell into their cellars in an ill-fated attempt to recover their goods and chattels. The mayor, actually, Thomas Bloodworth, went back to bed on the first night saying a woman might piss it out. The previous Great Fire in 1212 killed 3,000 people. What are the 4 main religions of India? Yes, Alan.
Sikhs,
Yep.
Buddhism,
Oh, no, it's not one.
Hinduism,
Hinduism, yes.
Christianity,
Yes, and one more. You've only said...
Islam.
Muslim,
Islam, yes. In correct order, they are Hindu, Islam, Christian and Sikh.
No Buddhists
There are
in
Buddhists.
India?
It was invented in India, of course. The Buddha was an Indian, but it's not one of the 4 main religions. There are 805 million Hindus. There are 134 million Muslims. There are 23 million Christians. Just 23... There's 22.5 million more than there are in Britain. And there are 19 million Sikhs. Buddhists, there are 7 million of them. 0.7% of the population. Although Buddhism was founded in India, its spiritual home today is, of course, Tibet. The blah, blah seal to La Bastille. Do you see what I've done there?
It's in Paris.
Paris is good.
Yes.
Very good. Can you tell me anything else interesting about La Bastille, either of you, Mark?
It was a prison,
It was a prison.
and it was stormed on July the 12th.
14th.
14th, but close, 2 days out.
You say 2 days out, but I'd have stormed it 2 days early. I'd have been on my own.
There were only 7 prisoners, weren't there?
Is exactly the right number. There were only
2 lunatics, 2
Yes!
thieves. Hang on. 2 lunatics, 2 forgers, 2 thieves, and a very bad mime artist.
Wasn't he convinced he was Julius Caesar, one of them?
Oh, this is good. You're getting points too. I'll come to this. This is impressive. Listen to this. We have 4 forgers. We have the Comte de Solange, who was inside for sexual misdemeanours of an unspecified kind. 2 lunatics, one of whom was an Englishman or an Irishman, they're not quite sure, called Major White, with a waist-length beard, who thought he was Julius Caesar.
You know, the Marquis de Sade would have been in the prison at the time of the storming of the Bastille. It's a very tragic story, this, because he was in there for a long time, but a week before the storming of the Bastille, he was transferred to another prison because he'd been upsetting passers-by by shouting obscenities at them through a tube out the window.
It's as if you've been reading my card, Mark.
And so all this stuff, it was tragic, because he spoke to his wife and he said, look, can you make sure you go round there and pick all this right? I've spent years writing in there. But she thought, well, you know, no rush, is there? It's the Bastille.
Safest place in Paris.
To that? And then I think she went down there on the day of the storming of the Bastille and thought, oh, shit.
Absolutely right. 10 days before the storming was when he was moved to Vincennes. And the authorities were upset because he was shouting not just obscenities, but anti-monarchist sentiments at passers-by. So they moved him to Vincennes, and otherwise he would have been released. It was rather like the Tower of London. Even at the Tower of London's height, it was quite a civilised place to be a prisoner. I mean, you got wine and food, and you got an allowance, you got tobacco, you could move around as much as you like.
So this was like the Groucho of the prison world.
Yeah! Tell me why the Kray twins were imprisoned in the Tower of London.
Were they ravens?
No, that's a cunning answer. The ravens do have weird names, and they're literally prisoners because they're kept in cages at the moment because of the worries of bird flu. They're called Gwillem, Thor, Eugene, Munin, Branwyn, Bran, Gandalf and Baldric.
And Dave. So they did actually have the Kray...
They had Ronnie and Reggie of the 3 Kray
brothers. Was there a prison officers' strike or something? There's nowhere else to put them?
No, they were a bit younger than that.
Did they go on a school trip?
No.
National service.
Very good, absolutely right.
There was a barracks there, wasn't there?
There was a barracks there, and that was their one. It was the City of London Regiment of the 1st Battalion of the Royal Fusiliers, which is where people like Michael Caine had gone when they'd done their national service. People in the East End, that was their local barracks. But they were actually imprisoned there because when they did their national service, they don't like it. Ron and Reggie didn't like it. And they beat up their training sergeant and went home to have tea with their mum. The weird thing about Ronnie is he was pretty psychopathic, and as most people know, he was gay. But he had this weird thing that everyone had to admire his boyfriend. So they'd have a meeting of the firm, and there'd be the heads of Plaistow and Hackney and Dalston and all the local branches of the firm. And there'd be Ronnie, the colonel, and there'd be a 17-year-old youth called Cyprian or something. And Ronnie would go, hello, everybody, this is Cyprian. And hello, Cyprian. And Ronnie would go, isn't he gorgeous? And they'd all have to go, oh, he's lovely, Ronnie. Oh, you pick him. Oh, you lucky dog. David Putnam, of all people, used to manage them for a very short period of time. I know, it's weird. Yeah, he did. They wanted to go legitimate. And he tells the story of how they were with David Bailey, who took those famous photographs of the 2 of them in suits, you know, standing one behind the other. And they were all in this pub. It wasn't the Blind Beggar, but it was a Kray pub. Ronnie had gone off. He was the insane one. So they left with Reggie, who was supposedly the normal one. And these couple of drunks come in, and they suddenly spot David Bailey, and they go, oh, you're David Bailey, aren't you? Go on, take me photograph. And David Bailey goes, no. He said, no, don't be a f***ing arsehole, take me photograph. He said, no, I've run out of film. Don't give me that, take my photograph. Reggie gets up, looks at himself in the mirror across the bar like that, and suddenly goes, baff, like that, and knocks him right across the room, and he bangs his head against a piano, and blood starts to trickle down. And his mate goes to him, and they just flee. And David Bailey, to his credit, is very angry. He says, Reggie, you are a tosser. And for God's sake, I get this every day. I'm a photographer, people know what I look like. I can handle it. You don't have to do that. You could have killed him. There was this terrible silence that Reggie had been shouted at like this. And he gave a little shy smile. He said, well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Bailey, I'd had my eye on that all afternoon. He'd been eating my sandwiches. Very extraordinary. Anyway, we can move on. Anyone fancy a game of arrows while we're in the pub? On the hockey, then, what begins with D and is something you always see the players doing in darts matches? Johnny?
Dangly wrist. The great darts player always, before they wobble their stomach, they do this with their wrist. I'm sorry, it's an unfortunate...
What kind of pubs have you been playing darts in? Oh, hello.
Yes, they're very nice there.
No, Jimmy, no. It's 2006.
What did...
We can't be doing hello ducking, can we?
Is there some word that they use that means throwing the darts? Or is it darting?
Well, what you've done is you've cleverly avoided our trap, which was drinking, because that's what they don't do.
No,
it's actually against the rules of competition darts to drink during a game of darts. When they first televised it, they would drink quite a lot while they were playing. Then the game fell into decline, and it was that fell whore comedy that was responsible. Darting.
You join us during the final stages of this truly titanic struggle between Di Fat Belly Gut Bucket and the English champion Tommy Even Fatter Belly Belcher. It's game on. And it's a good start. Double vodka. Single pint. Another double vodka.
100 milligrams.
100 milligrams.
This was such a problem, this sketch, apparently, for the public perception of darts, that it fell into decline and became regarded as a slobby game for drunkards.
You know, in Holland, they play it in schools.
Well, they have the great Raymond van Barneveld, who's won the darts many times. I remember the commentator saying, he's quite a man, he is. In his spare time, he studies the universe. Who's the famous darts commentator, do you remember?
Sid Waddell.
Sid Waddell.
So is it double first history, something like that?
He certainly read history at Cambridge University and has said some famous and extraordinary things in his time.
There's only one word for that, magic darts.
That's the greatest comeback since Lazarus.
Yeah. Alexander the Great conquered the world at 33. Eric Bristow is only 32.
Absolutely. He actually was slightly more poetic. When Alexander of Macedon was 33, he cried salt tears that there were no more worlds to conquer. Eric Bristow's only 27. And then you have the rather odd one, he's as happy as a penguin in a microwave. What was the most dangerous military stratagem ever devised?
Vehicle reversing.
Was it Hannibal's first crack at the Alps with chihuahuas?
The purpose of this one was to terrify the enemy. Imagine you're in the front line of an army and you're massing against the front line of another army, and the front line of the opposing army does something so extraordinary that you think, oh, my God, we're never going to beat them.
Is it from a Carry On film? Is it when they lifted their kilts and they didn't wear pants? It was amazing.
Carry On Braveheart. No, it's neither of those.
They flagellate themselves. They insert something within them.
They chop their own heads off.
They chop their own heads off.
The front line of the army chops their heads off. How you do that? Grab your hair and just slice with a very sharp sword.
Who was that, then? The Scots Guards?
This was in 496 BC.
It would be the Swiss army, because they'd have something on one of those little knives.
No,
do that, wouldn't they?
Self-decapitation. It's a country you know well, and you're wearing its flag at the moment.
This is the flag of Vietnam.
Well, that's right. We're talking 496 BC, the army of King Gujian of Yue. And he had convicted criminals in the front line and told them they had to cut their own heads off. You may say, well, why would they do that?
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen is if they didn't, then all their families and all their children would be massacred as well.
F*** it.
They didn't seem to worry. They knew they were going to die anyway. They were condemned to death. What do we know about decapitation? Does it kill you straight away?
I know if you cut a duck's legs off, it can still swim.
It can float, but it can't swim.
Floating
I'll leave a little bit of stumpage.
No. It wouldn't be it would have to catch the currents. It would evolve into a whole different animal. It would probably get a wing up as a sail or something like that.
Didn't they discover, like, for example, at the French Revolution with the guillotine, that like, heads could kind of, like, chat a bit
Carry on
afterwards.
chatting.
So,
Well, no, you're right. There was a story during the terror of the French Revolution that two members of the National Assembly were guillotined and their heads put in the same bag straight away, and one bit the other so hard they couldn't be separated. What, just the heads?
That's holding a grudge, isn't it? For all intents and purposes, you're dead. Let it go. Yeah, you didn't get on. Whatever.
They were French. What is the bravest species of animal?
I think it might be the ichneumon, the mongoose.
Yes, please.
Yes. Because the mongoose is basically like a sort of glorified ferret, and it goes out of its way to kill cobras. And cobras can kill you just by looking at you the wrong way. So I think that's pretty brave.
Why does it kill cobras? Because if it can only eat cobra, it's not brave, it's just sensible. It's just, you know...
No, but cobras, you know, they come out of baskets, they sing, they dance. Sort of Les Dennis of the snake world.
Yeah.
Well, they're literally the hoodie of the snake world, aren't they? They've got the little hoods.
They're not that brave, though, because as far as I'm aware, the mongoose nearly always wins. I've never seen a David Attenborough where he suddenly goes, oh dear, the mongoose has copped it. What's difficult about this question, I think, is you need some kind of comparative unit of bravery. I think...
And we have one. How do we show how brave people are in a graded order? Soldiers,
Medals.
for example. Medals?
Right.
There are bound to be loads of horses and dogs that have been ridiculously given medals if they understood what they were doing at all.
Pigeons get them, they get medals for making
I'm going to give you the points, Alan. You said pigeons, didn't you? Pigeons.
Yes. Points?
Yes. Pigeons mean points.
Brilliant.
Maria Dickin, who founded the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. In 1943, she instituted a medal called a Dickin, which is the equivalent of a Victoria Cross for animals that serve in the armed forces.
She sounds really bonkers.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you start giving the animals medals, you've got to start promoting the animals, and at some point you get a pigeon in charge of the whole army.
To be brave, you need to know the element of risk. So I reckon probably the bravest is something like a robin, because I've seen robins mob cats. You know, that's the equivalent of us running towards...
Is this as in Batman?
A tiger.
Well, because that's just not fair, is it?
No, that's...
Well, anyway, the Dickin Medal has been awarded 60 times, and 32 times it's gone to a pigeon. Once to a cat on board HMS Amethyst. The Yangtze incident.
Yangtze incident, 1949.
The Thai crew saved by a cat.
Yeah.
Well, he'd ate all the rats on ship.
That's not bravery, though. That's just greed.
It is really, to be perfectly honest.
Fat moggy.
What do babies have that adults do not?
I'm above head.
Horns.
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 Oddly enough, almost close.
They have a cranial cap. They have a divot there that you can store things in.
But the bones in the head haven't fused together yet, have they?
They haven't. Not only in the head, that's the point.
They're completely spongy babies. You can bend them pretty much. Like plasticine, you can just, like, make... If it's an ugly baby, you can just make it slightly better looking, you know, just give it horns if you want.
What's the protocol for when you see a really ugly baby? Do you
I'll
know?
tell you, people show you their babies on their phone now, and it's like a cashew with some hair coming out of it. The thing to say is, nice phone. That's what I think. I think babies have the ability to know that they are ugly, which their parents don't.
They don't have kneecaps, do they?
Aren't you mixing them up with mer babies?
Their kneecaps are not made of bone while they're babies, and there are all kinds of parts of them...
What are they made of?
That are not made of bone, but are made of cartilage.
Or Play-Doh?
And they have 94 more bones than adults.
No, they don't.
Whoa. Yeah.
You're making
They
this
do.
up?
No, no. A baby's body has about 300 what are called soft bones that haven't actually formed bone material. They are actually cartilage, a sort of soft, gooey thing. And they eventually fuse to form the 206 bones of the average human body. Where are a quarter of those bones housed?
Foot.
In the feet. The feet is right answer. Yeah, a quarter of your bones. 52. Very good. Yeah. Very good.
How long do you have to wait for your baby to harden?
It's in the natural course of
you
things.
put it somewhere like with Airfix kits. I used to put them in the airing cupboard.
Kill.
Yeah.
Bake it.
You fire the baby.
If you can imagine what a kamikaze pigeon unit did.
Fly into things, fly into planes, engines.
You're getting there. It's a very complicated...
Fly down guns.
It's a
nest. Terrible nuisance to get out.
It was to fly at ships, but in a very particular way, inside a missile. It's got a window, right? Look, I'll explain it to you. Here's a pigeon. I've got a pigeon here. Voila. And I have a ship. Yeah. And you train the pigeon to peck at a ship. And every time it does, it's rewarded with grain. Then you put it inside its missile with a glass front, right? And a ship comes into view, but it's slightly on the left. Well, the pigeon's behavioural response is to peck towards where it is. And this activates a relay. And as it gets nearer the ship and it gets bigger and bigger, it pecks more and more and more and more and more, which tells them that they're on the right track. They get really, really close and it explodes in a ball of flame. Destroying...
And that's the thanks it gets.
That's the thanks. It maybe gets showered with grain at the last second, just as a thank you, who knows. But it's a guidance system.
Did it work?
It wasn't used.
Right.
But... what they did, using this man Skinner, this behavioural psychologist's experiments, was they got a bit of glass, and instead of having a target on it or anything like that, it was just a plain piece of glass with an orange dot on it. And every time the pigeon hit the dot exactly like that, it would get rewarded. Can you imagine why that would be useful?
I was thinking about this just the other day. It's funny you said it.
Very slow form of execution for someone. You put an orange dot on them, put a pigeon in the room, you could activate 12 years.
No, pigeons have very good eyesight. And if an air rescue helicopter is searching the sea and someone's in a little orange dinghy or in an orange life jacket, the pigeon will always see it as a little dot in its screen. So let's go like that, thinking it's going to get fed. And that will alert the pilot. And it works. And that's beneficial and no one dies. Someone might even get saved.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you eat the pigeon on the way back. The passenger pigeon, is that a familiar species to any of you? It's one of the saddest stories. There were flocks of them in America, and I'm not kidding, that were 1 mile wide and 300 miles long.
Good Lord.
They would have 2 billion of these birds. They were just the most extraordinary sight in nature, probably.
So they're shitting whole hills.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine?
If you're caught under that, you are dead.
You are. Seriously dead. In 1896, they killed the final flock of 250,000 in one day. Knowing it was the last American sportsman, and I use the word sport quite wrongly.
Did you know about the Puccini gun? The composer Puccini was a great shooter of birds, as a lot of Italians are. When I was in his house at Torre del Lago, there was the Puccini gun, which he made himself, and he'd be sitting there writing, you know, lovely opera, and he'd hear a snipe outside the window. He'd grab this thing, which had the bore on it like a drain pipe, and he could bring down 50 snipe in one go.
Oh, you see, is that sport? He's Italian. Italians, Americans, I mean, really. That's horrible. But can you imagine that? And then on one day, knowing you're wiping out an entire species to kill 250,000 birds in a day.
Did they know it was the last 250,000? And they sort of thought, fantastic, let's finish them off.
Yeah.
That was the last flock, and then the last bird itself died in the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914. She was called Martha.
So that the pigeons in Trafalgar Square, they're wild rock pigeons.
Wild rock doves.
Wild rock doves.
Yeah.
Do they know that? Because you don't tend to see them on the cliffs at Beachy Head.
They're confused by our rock cliffs, aren't they? That's the problem. Pablo Picasso was a keen pigeon fancier.
His father was a painter of pigeons. It was a style in late 19th century Malaga. Instead of, like, flower genre painting in France, whatever, his father was a pigeoniana, or whatever it was called. And when he discovered how good his son was, he gave him his brushes and never painted again.
Fantail pigeons he collected himself, and of course he called his daughter
Paloma,
which is Spanish for a dove or pigeon. Indeed. Una paloma blanca, you remember. There we are. So, B.F. Skinner was the name of the man who designed these missiles aimed by pigeons who were tapping in the nose, and it was tested successfully, but never actually saw action. What is the most dangerous sport in fact, the most dangerous country in the world?
Contemporary dance in Scotland. Hopscotch in Afghanistan? I don't know.
You're very close.
Well, it's going to be Afghanistan or Iraq, isn't it?
Well, odd enough, in between those two...
Kazakhstan?
No, a much better known one.
Subazakistan?
It's another stan, but the best known stan. Pakistan.
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 They play a lot of cricket.
They do play cricket there, but they also have this very dangerous sport. So dangerous, it's been banned for all but 15 days of the year. It's a child's pastime that has become aggressive and extreme.
Conkers?
No. It's mentioned and indeed sung about in Mary Poppins.
Buckaroo.
Mary Poppins.
Flying a kite.
Flying a kite. The idea of extreme kite flying
is dangerous.
You have to sever your competitors. You have to sever your competitor's kite from its string, and so the string's actually made of metal with glass, sharp, abrading glass. And motorcyclists get garroted because hundreds of people do it all over the country.
Who told you this, Stephen? This is nonsense. This doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm afraid it does.
No, I saw it, Channel 5, when kiters go bad.
They shout, Bo-kata, kite down.
What about when they garrot someone? What do they shout then? Oops.
Yes, probably. It's the spring festival of Vasant Panchami, or Basant is when it happens. And there's people against it. The Kite Flying Effectees Committee, people who are affected by kite flying, have tried to ban it completely.
Do all the kites have to have the face of Des Lynam on them?
He is a god in Pakistan. Yeah. How big can a kite be? What's the heaviest kite you could have?
They could weigh anything up to 4 tons.
Well, the largest kite ever made weighs nearly a ton.
100 metres
48
long.
foot by 36 foot.
That's
And
right.
how many people does it take to fly that, then?
50.
50 people.
Yeah.
50 men, it says here.
50 men or 25 fat birds.
It has 200 strings. The smallest is 1.25 inches across.
You can get them in the market and stuff. You see those blokes doing those tiny kites? Have you seen them?
No.
Miniature kites.
That's right.
On bridges and things or something.
Oh, do they? You started using an electric fan, one of those little handheld electric fans. It just flies up. Yeah. Invisible string, which makes it very pleasing.
Then you go home and cry. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing in my life? I want to be a doctor. Look, everybody. Oh, what's the point?
What do you use to make a difference engine? Do you know what a difference engine might be?
It's a machine, a 19th century, 18th century design to solve equations.
Yes, a calculator, a computer,
It was one of the first computers, yeah.
Indeed, and there is...
it
was
used cogs and stuff.
Charles Babbage. He never completed it. He ran out of money. Only in 1991 was it fully reconstructed from his plans, and it worked perfectly.
It's thought that he put a couple of mistakes
Deliberately,
into it,
yes.
so that if anyone stole the plans and tried to make it, it wouldn't work.
Mr. Dara, well done.
Presumably, this is a bit like when you go out at night, going to the back of your DVD and jamming a fork into it repeatedly and then going, well, if they can steal it, it'll never work.
That's
slashing your own tyres before your holidays. the joke's on you, thief, OK?
But in fact, in answer to the question, the reason he couldn't complete it was so vast, with these huge cogs in. There is a material he could have used to make it, if only it had existed, which was invented in 1901 by one Frank Hornby.
The bloke who did the model railway.
The bloke who did the model railways also invented another staple British child's toy.
Fake hedges.
That was all part of the... But it was a totally separate invention.
Action Man, Meccano.
Meccano is the right answer.
Those are the only toys I remember.
Yeah, and there is a Meccano difference engine at work. It really does work. And it can do trigonometric functions, logarithms. And the point about it is it's programmable. It's not like a clock or something that's just simply dedicated to one analogue task of telling you the time. This is actually programmable. He was an odd man, though, Babbage, and he does rather live up to the idea of an early computer nerd. Tennyson wrote a poem which included the line, "Every moment dies a man, every moment one is born." And he wrote back, "If this were true, the population of the world would be at a standstill. In truth, the rate of birth is slightly in excess of death. I would suggest that the next edition of your poem should read, every moment dies a man, every moment 1 1/16 is born." strictly speaking, the actual figure is so long I cannot get it into a line, but I believe the figure 1 1/16 will be sufficiently accurate for poetry. What a man.
That's the best impression I've ever heard of him, though.
It is a good impression, obviously. He also invented the cowcatcher thing that goes on front of a locomotive.
I'm presuming by the fact that this is the design, it didn't succeed in catching many cows as much as dividing them.
Tell us something interesting about door hinges.
Door hinges used to be made out of wood.
Yes.
But they weren't very effective. And so then they started making them out of metal. And it's got a lot better since then.
You can clean them with brown sauce.
Well, that's true. That is true. Have you ever hung a door on its hinges? Have you ever fitted hinges to a door?
Yeah, we have.
We have.
You have?
Both, yeah.
All right, so how do you space the hinges out? Let's say the top hinge is 6 inches from the lintel.
Yes.
Where would the bottom hinge be? 6 inches from the floor?
No, it would be
that he's actually
lower.
taking seriously that we really have hung doors.
I have hung a door.
Oh, she has really hung a door. I've hung a bloke.
I've probably hung it wrong.
The point is this. Let's say this is the jamb. So the up one, that's 6 inches from the top, but that's 9 inches up. In order to create the effect of them being equally spaced, because you're always looking down at the bottom one, and there's foreshortening. If you actually equally space them, it looks wrong. It looks as if the lower one is too low. So you have to do it to that. But in America, it's 5 and 10. And in some western states of America, it's 7 and 11, like a shot. Yes. It is. 7 inches down, 11 up. I know, it's a shocker. You heard it here first, Joe.
I'm frightened now.
I bet you are.
Is there a doctor
I
here?
want to imagine you measuring your door hinges when you get home and say, Stephen was right.
I'm going to send you a
6,
picture of me
9.
measuring my door hinges naked.
Yes, please. I want it. But the middle one goes exactly in between the two. So there's the 6, the 9, and then in the middle. There's the interesting thing about
Doors
hinges.
are 78 inches long.
All doors.
Domestic doors, generally, you might have to take
That's
a bit
6'6".
How do you know that?
Bought a door recently.
You see? And who
Why?
hung it? Who hung it on its hinges?
My friend Keith is a carpenter.
Well, he'll know about that.
He's also a stand-up comedian, so it's a right laugh having him round.
Oh, my God.
The door handle kept turning like that, and turning and turning and turning, and I couldn't get into the loo. And I really needed to go, so I kicked the door in. It's the only time I've ever kicked a door in.
It's rather
brilliant.
Good.
And
Great
it was a really
feeling.
cheap,
Brenda
flimsy
in there.
door, and it smashed like that, and it exploded, and the door bit fell down, there was wood everywhere, and I burst in and had a crap.
Lovely. I've heard of the Isle of Dogs, but what famous islands are named after birds? Any thoughts? There are quite a few.
Puffin Island.
Is correct. Any others?
Penguin Island, Sparrow Island. Blackwood Island, Eagle Island, Heron Island.
Thrush Island.
The Canary Island.
Oh, but no! So the Canary Islands aren't... There's an example.
That's not the Canary Islands.
That is actually Bird Island we're looking at. You're absolutely right.
It's in the Seychelles.
In the Seychelles, you're quite right. Yeah, no, the Canary Islands are named after dogs. Insula Canaris means the Isle of Dogs, and the birds are named after the island. Do you know about Canary wrestling?
No.
It's just a form of wrestling in the Canary Islands.
How does it work?
Well, you stand in a sand circle called the terrero, and basically, like sumo a bit, your feet have to be in the sand. If any other part of your body touches the sand, you're beaten.
Is it Canaries wrestling?
No, people from the Canary Islands.
Oh, I thought it was Canaries that were... I just didn't see why they did. Why would they wrestle?
Well, you have cockfighting.
Well, you know, they're angry animals.
Do you know about La Gomera? Obviously, not having been to the Canary Islands, there is an island called La Gomera. Do you know how they communicate across valleys in La
Shouting.
Gomera? They don't shout.
Mobile
no.
phone.
They don't. It's a language they use, but instead of using their vocal cords, they fart. No, they whistle. See if you can tell what they're whistling. It's in Spanish. That is John milked the goats. I'm not making this up. The next one. That was Domingo was sick. Honestly. Let's see that one again, because you can hear the Domingo, now you know. Listen. Domingo!
I can't help noticing. Although it's in Spanish, he does have a Liverpool accent.
Why don't we just talk to each other?
Because it's bouncing off the canyons of the gorges of the valleys of La Gomera.
This is still on the Canary Islands now, is it?
Yeah.
Is this the one that's going to fall in the sea and wipe out the whole of the eastern seaboard of America?
I'm glad you asked me that, Mr. Clarkson, because that is La Palma in the Canaries. The volcano on La Palma is said that if it goes off in a big way, it will cause a tsunami that will engulf the whole of the eastern seaboard of the United States. What's the most interesting thing a dog can smell? Yes, Neil.
A dog's dinner.
Yes. To a dog, that is the most interesting thing a dog can smell.
Another dog's bottom.
Yep. Oh, there you are. Oh, no.
My crotch. But they all do.
They do. Oh, dear, dear. Can you blame them? They're only flesh and blood. This is really interesting because it's terribly touching, really, that they can smell this. And
Cancer.
It's cancer.
No, really?
Yeah. So there was a woman who, her dog kept pawing at her leg. And she had nothing on her leg that was peculiar, just a normal number of moles, but it was only interested in one of the moles. And when she wore shorts, it tried to nip it. And so she went to the doctor, and the doctor found that this was a malignant melanoma, and it taken out. And doctors have found that dogs can smell bladder cancer, lung cancer, 99% efficiency rate at smelling it in people's breath, lung cancer. Quite extraordinary.
So have I got cancer of the bollocks, then?
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Let's not discuss.
No, let's not. Insane. We have something like 50 million of these olfactory cells up here, and they have 220-odd million. But their sense of smell is infinitely better than that. It's not just 220-odd times better. It's thousands of times better. We have machines that can smell a part in a billion, which are fantastically sensitive and complex. Dogs can smell one part in a quadrillion.
I'm worried about this dog. Has it been nailed? It can smell my crotch.
Yeah.
We all can.
I'm sorry.
It is. What is 3 times more dangerous than war?
3 wars.
Is it doing a Yui on the A40?
This is according to the United Nations.
It's probably something really inane, like cycling, trampolining.
It's work. More likely to die at work than you are at war.
Does that include soldiers?
What if you work in a shoe shop near a war?
I always guarantee you will find some cunning way to make me not know anything. And I don't know what the statistics are for people who work in shoe shops near wars.
How many times have they actually had a war in a shopping centre? It's very rare that first world countries get invaded, but if they did, you could have a shootout in a multiplex, couldn't you?
If you lived in South London, you'd find a lot of wars in shopping centres.
I've been arrested in a shopping centre.
Have you? Tell us why.
For an act of war?
I knocked a security guard's hat off.
Recently?
A very Bertie Wooster thing to do.
Yeah. I didn't even do it on purpose. I was taking my jumper off. I was absolutely arsehole as well. And you're very much hearing my side of the story. I called it actually rather a story of defence.
I read a thing once that said 1/3 of all accidents at work go unreported. How do they know?
Lumberjacks have the most dangerous job in America, it appears. 122 deaths per 100,000 employees.
So that song's entirely wrong, is it?
Yes. Exactly.
How could you die doing that? Just trees falling on you?
You're saying trees falling on you like that's a bit of a pansy way to go. That's a legitimate way to die.
It's just the only real sort of peril, isn't it?
There's a lot of chainsaws.
But also, you're not very well protected in panties and a bra, are you?
And also, if you're a lumberjack, you're supposed to be good at it. Yeah. You're not supposed to chop down trees and go, oh, it's the other side, isn't it?
Well, now, yes, according to the United Nations, more than 2 million people die from work-related accidents, as opposed to 650,000 people a year who die in... What was Darwin's problem with brown owl? And why did he not describe it?
Probably ate it or something.
Ah! So he ate brown owls, you're saying?
Well, actually, he didn't, because he described it as indescribable, which is why he didn't describe the brown owl. Well, actually, as food, he meant, because Charles Darwin, one of the greatest scientists, one of the greatest men, really, of any age, was considered a very dim pupil and couldn't spell and was terrible at arithmetic and went to Cambridge. The only subject his father thought was fit for him was divinity. And he spent his time chasing rats and shooting and looking at animals and eating strange animals. He was a member of the Gourmet Society, or the Gluttons, as it was known at Cambridge, and their aim in life was to eat as many rare and peculiar animals, like bitterns and hawks. But brown owl, they didn't like at all, and all the others became bishops and archdeacons.
Does this still exist, this club?
Exists? Stephen's the president of it.
Yeah, otherwise you write me around for fox on creme, mate.
I take panda. That's the... Oh, it's lovely.
I've got a book at home. It's equivalent to the Collins Book of Birds from 1850. And after describing each bird, at the end it will say, for instance, a buzzard tastes a little bit milder than a golden eagle. Yes. But still quite palatable.
Does it have a wine recommendation at the bottom? You suggest a Chablis or a New World. Which religion causes harm by sticking pins into dolls? Oh!
I don't know, but I bet he set it up.
Pins into dolls. Who do that? Oh, hello. Voodoo. Oh, who said that? He did. He said voodoo. Thank God. He takes it. No, it isn't. Voodoo has never involved the sticking of pins into dolls.
What? So a religion does?
European witchcraft.
Oh, I thought it was the Methodists.
Yeah.
Do you know a bunch of heretics?
Do you know what the dolls are called in European witches? They're made of wax, or they're made of ceramics, made of wood, straw, all kinds of things, but there's a word for them. Do you know? It's rather nice. Poppets. Poppets.
Isn't that lovely?
The closest, anyway, that voodoo ever comes is they do have these little empowered figures called bocellos, which have small holes in into which you put tiny pegs to channel healing energy. So it's a generous, kind thing, voodoo, to help people. It had made its way through slavery from West Africa to the Caribbean in particular, of course, Haiti is where it's most associated with. The missionaries and so on came and they wanted to discredit the local religion in order to raise up the claims of Christianity. So they said it was full of cannibalism and zombieism and things that they had actually gotten out of European witchcraft. And so it was really... Poor old voodoo has rather suffered from it.
They should get you to redo their image for it.
Yeah, why not? New double-action voodoo.
Take 2 poppets into the shower.
Yes. What's a vomit comet? Yay.
Is it a new alcoholic snooker player?
No, it isn't.
Or is it a branch of electrical retailers in Slough?
Good.
If you don't feel very well in space and you throw up out of the window.
You started so well, and then you suggested the idea of a window that you could open in a space capsule.
Well, I'm assuming there'd be an airlock, or maybe you just have your own helmet and then vomit out.
It's a plane that they train astronauts.
You're absolutely right, Phil. Jupiter's helping us
They float about and they throw up and they bring them down again.
Exactly right.
Covered in their own business.
It's exactly right. Well done. It's a military spec 707, and it does parabola flights. It does about 30 or 40 in a mission.
They shot about 20 minutes of footage for Apollo 13 in it, but they could only do it in 60-second chunks because that's as much as you're allowed to be weightless before they have to bring you back down.
You're absolutely right. It's actually even less than 60 seconds. Yeah, it's about 40 seconds.
It must be padded.
Well, you don't need to because you don't really hit it with any force when you're weightless.
Well, I imagine when you stop being weightless...
It comes back slowly, I guess, because you're problem. You go
it's also covered in sick.
Go from 0G...
Interesting point from a personal point of view. If you weigh a lot, are you more weightless?
We have the interesting physical question of the difference between mass and weight. Weight is a phenomenon that doesn't exist except by virtue of gravity, because we are live in 1G.
Tell that to society,
yeah. Fatness, on the other hand, is a completely different issue. It doesn't alter. can do that. It doesn't alter whether you're weightless or not.
So if you went into space, in a spaceship, quite a large spaceship, and you had a mouse and an elephant...
They were both weigh the same because they were both weigh zero.
Would they become weightless at the same time?
Yeah.
Or would the mouse lift off quick and then taunt the elephant?
Well, anyway, you're absolutely right about the vomit comic, and it was used to train astronauts in weightlessness. About a third of them would get incredibly sick, about a third moderately, and a third not at all. But supposedly it was the anxiety rather than the actual experience that made them sick. Name a saint who comes from Ireland.
Patrick. Oh!
He went to Ireland, but he didn't come.
None of the patron saints of Britain are from where they're supposed to be from, are they?
George is Palestinian, St. George.
Yes.
Patrick is Welsh.
British, certainly. He came from around the River Severn area, apparently.
St. Bernard was from a shelter.
But you must be able to name some genuine...
Yeah, St. Columkill, St. Bridget, St. Kevin.
St. Bridget. Do you know what her great miracle was?
She laid down a cape because she said, I want some land to build a convent. She said, well, you can have whatever land your cape covers. And she laid it down, and the cape grew like ginger beer in every direction. And so taken over the entire field.
That is one of her great miracles. The other one was that she could transform her used bathwater into beer. Very Irish sort of miracle.
That one wasn't taught to us in primary school in Ireland.
Kevin?
Kevin lived halfway up a mountain in Glendalough in Wicklow and was like an Irish Francis of Assisi. Small animals would nest in his hand, and rather than crush the fecker and get on with his day, he would let the bird rest there and heal or whatever, and he'd go, please, I've got stuff to do. Do you want to bring up any more of these scars of my childhood right here?
It is astonishing to imagine an education like that.
I will say this for it, like, I do remember once going out with a lady who was raised atheist, and an utter chore to walk around a gallery with. They go, who's the guy on the sticks? Is he the same guy who was in the shed earlier on?
Who is St. Bartholomew? Because I went in the museum in Venice and there was a painting of him and he's a spit of me. I was a spit of him. Anyway, it was a virtually full-size picture and it was uncanny and a little bit frightening because he was only wearing a nappy and he'd been shot with an arrow.
His day is the 24th of August, I know that. That's St. Bartholomew's Day. And there's obviously a famous hospital in London, St. Bartholomew's.
But he's probably the reason why they say always wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident, because he had to go to A&E with an arrow and a nappy on. And had to sit in the waiting
so
room.
long, they named the hospital after him.
Lord, there you are. Well, a lot of them had arrows. St. Sebastian was the famous one to be shot with arrows.
Well,
but
maybe it was St. Sebastian, maybe it wasn't St.
There is a Mantegna St. Sebastian that does look not unlike you, it has to be said.
Do you know what? I think it might be St. Sebastian.
I think it was St. Sebastian. St. Bartholomew's death was that he was flayed alive, and most paintings of St. Bartholomew have him with his skin draped over his arm, his own skin.
No, that wasn't him.
That wasn't him, no.
So I've seen that statue in church. I always used to think when I was a kid that he just had a sort of beige-coloured coat.
His own skin. Anyway, the patron saint of Ireland went to Ireland but didn't come from there. He was kidnapped as a child, sold into slavery to Ireland. And then when he went on to the continent, became a monk, he wanted to come back to Ireland to convert to Christianity and cast out... What was particularly clever about Clever Hans, the horse, who was rather famous in his day?
Couldn't it count or give answers to something?
Yeah, not just count, it could do square roots. But it wasn't quite a con, it was something else.
Wasn't it they could read body language,
Exactly
basically?
right.
You could see people going... Is it? And they're going, ah! And they
Only
stop.
much subtler. It's basically what Darren Brown often does. And if you train yourself to know how to read someone's body language, the tiniest movement of an eye, the tiniest flexing of a muscle somewhere, all those sort of things, you can, as it were, read someone's mind. And this is what the horse was doing.
But Darren Brown's a bit brighter than
He's a lot
kid.
brighter than the horse, we have to
Darren Brown,
say.
do you know what, he's got one great trick. You know when you've got an empty seat by you in a train, and you don't want anyone to sit there? He says you're insane to put things on the chair to stop people sitting there. The trick is, as they approach, you smile at them and pat the seat.
That's very good. Yeah. Horses are just stupid, I'm afraid. And every day they have to reinvent the world. You know, you go, oh, what's that? It's a piece of paper. Oh, what's that? It's a hedge. You saw one yesterday. For Christ's sake, get a grip. Oh, everything. Oh.
You look so much like my nan then when you... It's a hedge nan!
What connects gelignite, saccharin, and the rings around Uranus?
This is what I call a fantastic night out.
Well, if this is about discoveries, the only thing I know about gelignite is it was invented by Nobel of the Nobel Prize.
Exactly, it was, yes.
And this is a safety version of dynamite.
Gelignite is safer than nitroglycerin,
Yes.
which is what's inside dynamite. Nitroglycerin escapes from the dynamite and it blows people up, including Nobel's brothers.
If you get that on your hands, you can get a headache, and they call it having banged head. I learnt that on Brainiac.
You're absolutely right.
I have reason to believe that it was invented by mistake.
Hooray! Top marks, absolutely right. They're all serendipitous, accidental inventions.
When were the rings around Uranus discovered? Quite recently, I think.
The rings of Uranus were discovered in 1977, actually.
When did it stop being called Uranus?
About 5 minutes ago, I said Uranus. I suddenly noticed that it could sound like your anus.
I can't remember who discovered it, but the guy who discovered it wanted to call it George Planet
He did.
after the king. But
Herschel, his name.
Herschel, there you are.
1781, yes.
You can't ask for anusol in that way in a shop. You have to pronounce it anusol.
It's a slightly embarrassing product. Let's call it anusol.
Can I have some cockwort go? I mean, it might as well be. Ridiculous.
And whilst I'm at it, I'll have a packet of those spunk bags.
Well, anyway, Alfred Nobel was trying to make dynamite more stable, and he discovered by adding collodion. He'd had some on his finger. It was used... I don't know if you've ever used it as an actor. If you've ever had to have a scar, it tightens on the skin very hard. They used to use it as a sort of liquid plaster. He'd cut himself, and he thought, this is a very odd stuff. And he just thought he'd try mixing it with lots of other things, and he accidentally mixed it with his nitroglycerin, and it formed a jelly, which you could throw around, unlike nitroglycerin, which, as you know, is very, very unstable. Saccharin, he forgot to wash his hands after playing with some chemicals, and then found his food tasted sweet, so he was an American, obviously, because he ate with his fingers.
There's a huge number of things that are discovered by accident.
Trousers.
Trousers were discovered.
When somebody accidentally fell into 2 drain pipes. Hey, presto! No more embarrassing walks.
That's like the story of Roquefort, when a young shepherd boy, just picture the scene, he's dropped his cheese in a hole.
I often picture the scene of young shepherd boys dropping their cheese in a hole.
And 6 months later, he's sheltering in the cave, and he found this bit of cheese, he's starving, and it's all rotten. And he's like, oh, well, what the hell, I'll eat it anyway. It's delicious. And that's how blue cheese was discovered, children.
The 3M company were after a paper glue that would stick cards and paper together really strongly, and one of their research chemists was so bad at it that he just... But it sort of stuck, but you just peeled it off, and so came up with the Post-it note, which was an accident as well. Caffeine, silly putty, Viagra, and another accident, of course, the Americas.
Yes.
They're not all successful. It was Gandhi's first name.
Oh, Jeffrey, wasn't it?
Jeffrey, it wasn't Jeffrey.
I don't know. Indira Gandhi, that was his granddaughter, was it?
No, they weren't related. She was Nehru's.
Oh, she's not even related to him?
No. Well, at least you've avoided our trap of not saying Mahatma.
But that's not a name, though,
Guys,
is it?
it's not a name. Do you know what Mahatma means?
It means, can I have my hat, please, mother?
Funny enough, W.C. Fields almost got there before you, because he wrote one of his films under the pseudonym of Mahatma Cain Jeeves, as in Mahatma Cain Jeeves. So there you are. No, it means great soul in Sanskrit, and it was a title awarded him by a follower. As early as 1915, he was called that.
Was it Andy?
It wasn't. It wasn't Andy Gandhi.
Is older brother Randy Gandhi?
Oh, you said Randy Gandhi, didn't you?
Oh, is it?
I think we had decided it was minus 150 for anyone who said Randy was his name. Randy Gandhi. No, it was actually Mohandas K. Gandhi, the K standing for... When you know about whom I am talking. Had she been eligible, she might have been elected US president. She's a trained scientist. She has larger breasts than you might imagine. Jonathan's alert. Her maiden name, Roberts.
Thatcher.
Oh, dear. Margaret Thatcher's maiden name was Roberts, but this particular née Roberts has over 1 billion pairs of shoes and yet stands only 11 inches tall.
I'm above Ed.
Thumbelina.
Not Thumbelina. This one exists.
11 inches tall?
Yeah.
Barbie.
Barbie is the right answer. Yay. She was named after one Barbara Millicent Roberts from Willows, Wisconsin.
If Barbie was a real person,
Yeah.
she wouldn't be able to stand.
Yes.
Anatomically.
Yeah, exactly.
Her feet are too small.
If you sort of blew her up to 5'6", her feet would be size 3, her breasts would be 39 inches, and she would just
But
go...
you wouldn't have stand up anyway, would you? You'd only want her supine anyway, wouldn't you, if she had those kind of things?
Is that right? It's also apparently true, according to researchers at University Central Hospital in Helsinki, Finland, that her body shape lacks this 17 to 22% body fat, which would enable her to menstruate. But what was it she managed finally to get in the year 2000?
Pregnant.
It was a piece of something that...
The Shroud of Turin.
Not a bra, some part of her body. Nipple, not nipples, thank you.
A navel.
A navel is the right answer. She finally got a tummy button. Very good. Absolutely right. Barbie philosophy. Barbie spoke in 1992 for the first time. Do you know the kind of thing she said?
Where's my navel?
You could have said that.
No means no. Stop looking down there. I don't have bits.
Will we ever have enough clothes? Was one of the first.
It's a paradoxical frog, Ken.
Yeah. I love shopping.
Do you? But what did Barbie say, Stephen?
Math is tough. As we know, Barbie, whose full name was Barbara Millicent Roberts, was born in 1959. She's done everything, including running for president 3 times. What was the second commonest cause of death for women up to the year 1800? Yes.
Kestrels.
What a wild stab in the dark.
Childbirth.
Childbirth was number 1.
Oh, right.
Very good that you...
Was Kestrels number 2?
No, it was number 2 I was asking for, and I took that to be your answer first time round.
Was it dehydration from having to lick the carpet clean because hoovers haven't been invented?
Were these deaths at night? Because I could go with owls.
Let me say it's no kind of bird of prey.
Not even a swan?
Not even... No.
Swans flying at women really hard with stiff necks until they went through their bodies like a javelin.
No. It's a nice
women lying all over the British countryside with swans.
No.
Was it horse riding accidents?
No, that's, if I may say so, a great deal more intelligent, and I don't mean that in a patronising way.
Beaten to pulp by the husband.
Oh, hello. No, domestic violence was not it. It was domestic.
Beaten to a pulp by their sons.
That would still be domestic violence.
Falling down the stairs.
No, it was trying to do something. It was engaged in a domestic activity. Cooking is the right answer, yes.
Death by cooking?
Yeah, largely because their dresses would catch fire. I don't know why that's funny. It is.
The second most common cause of death?
After childbirth, amongst
What happened to you? She set light to herself and...
I bet a lot of their husbands came in and went, blimey, that's a big roasty.
What is the first computer ever to beat a grandmaster at chess now doing?
Anybody there?
Is it filtering calls for BT?
You're so close to being right.
If you have a billing query, move knight to bishop 3.
Oh, very good. It's actually slightly more disturbing. It's working for United Airlines as a reservations clerk.
Yes. Didn't Kasparov say actually that he found it actually had intelligence? It was shifting. It was actually deeper blue, I think, when it beat
You're
him.
absolutely right.
Was
Deep
it named
blue...
after... Isn't IBM called the Big Blue?
It
Isn't that
is.
his nickname?
Yeah, it is. And That and an amalgam
of deep thought.
Deep thought, which is...
In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, yeah. I thought it was split in half, actually. It was in museums. They took
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, they're only using part of it. It was immensely powerful.
But didn't they cheat? And actually, what Caspar pointed out is that it managed to spot his trap in the 6th game or something.
Absolutely right. He set a trap in Game 2, which a computer could only have avoided by thinking creatively, leading Kasparov to accuse IBM of cheating and leading Stephen Fry to accuse Johnny Vaughan of cheating and reading his cards. It was so accurate. Well done. Very good. Yeah, excellent. I watched Gary Kasparov playing the match against Nigel Short in London. It really is absolutely terrifying. You can feel this energy coming out of him. He hunches over the board and he moves the pieces. Even the way they move the pieces have names, you know. Vasily Smyslov, who was a very great grandmaster for a long period in the 50s, he used to move his pieces like that and give a slight twist.
Flourish!
And still to this day, known as the Smyslov screw. That's the way it just take...
So little
as if you're screwing it into the board. It's really extraordinary.
But he did complain that it was actually starting out to show intelligence rather than just cold logic. I know
Exactly.
200 million permutations it can think ahead or something.
200 million positions a second can be analysed, yeah.
Why don't we phone United Airlines and set a trap?
Yes, brilliant idea. Me to seat A7.
Doesn't it kind of restore your faith in the human mind rather than being cynical about IBM? The fact that he's going up against something that can do, what, 200 million processes a second? It's amazing. It's close to autism, though, what he's got, isn't it?
He happens to be more intelligent than most. Some of them you wouldn't trust to sit the right way in a lavatory, to be honest, but that much of your brain is taken up with the processing you're doing. It's not surprising you're not safe to use the street unattended. Who's suffering from Chagas disease?
Oh, did you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, bloody Chagas.
Taxi, I'm off.
We didn't see that one coming. Is it something to do with shag pile carpets and the dust that comes from the shag pile, that it's drawn in through the nasal passage into the lungs, perhaps called woolly lung?
I love that idea, but it's not that.
How are you spelling this Chagas disease?
No, that's a good question.
Yeah,
How you spell it? It's actually spelled C-H-A-G-A-S, Chagas.
I think it's some sort of virus or a bacterium or a...
parasitic.
A parasitic disease.
It's a parasitic disease.
Is it some sort of equatorial disease? I'm sure I've had an injection against this or
If anyone
something.
needed an injection against Chagas disease...
What now? You're doing history!
It's infectious.
There's a famous person who had it.
And what's our letter of the series?
D.
D. It's a famous
Darwin.
D.
Darwin.
Charles Darwin had Chagas disease, and he described it. It's pretty unpleasant, I have to say.
Did he get it off the beagle?
He did.
Oh, look how it took him.
The description of Chagas disease is unpleasant. Vomiting, preceded by shivering, hysterical crying, dying sensations, half-faint, copious and very pallid urine.
This is premenstrual tension.
What about this one? This is an odd one. Now, vomiting and every passage of flatulence preceded by ringing of ears. Mine is followed by ringing of ears.
And he had this for 50 years.
For 50 years he had that. Very sad. Amusing name, but by no means an amusing condition. Chagas disease is a serious problem still for millions of people all over, particularly South America. It was discovered by Carlos Chagas. It's unique in the history of medicine, inasmuch as it is the only disease that was entirely described. What's the best thing to do with a dead donkey? Yes.
Christmas dinner. A lovely Christmas dinner. If you're having the big family round, a donkey will go a long, long way. A big old cavity, plenty of stuffing.
Can he be hung like a dead donkey?
People had this idea that donkeys knew when their death was coming and went away and apart from everyone else, like elephants are said to do. And therefore, to see a dead one was apparently very rare, although they're common. So it was considered very lucky. And you have to jump over it 1, 2, 3 times. The word donkey, when did it come into the English language?
When was Don Quixote published?
Oh! No, it's very odd. The word was ass all the way through the 16th, 17th centuries, most of the 18th century. In the late 18th century, it suddenly appeared, the word donkey. It was pronounced donkey, like monkey.
If we wiped out every single mule on this planet today, all of them, by next year, there'd be 10,000 of them.
Really?
At least.
How would that work?
Because they're hybrids. They can't breed amongst themselves.
Exactly, yes.
They can't actually breed amongst themselves, though, so they rely on that.
I see
you
what
can
you
whack
mean.
them out,
So-
you still have horses getting donkeys, so you still get the mule population up.
You'll still have horses getting donkeys.
Yes. I wanted to put it mildly. I didn't want to say boning them.
Which way round is it, though?
It's the female horse.
Is correct, and the male donkey. So it's the donkey that does the shagging.
The donkey's little.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
So donkeys are quite intelligent. They have to find a box.
No.
Because in one department, Phil, the donkey is blessed.
Ah.
You see?
Oh, that's a long reach, though, still. In fact, the donkey can do it from a different field. It can just...
And they have little...
If it chooses.
And they have a very Leslie Phillips way of treating their lady. They go, hee-haw. No, that's right, yeah. And the other way round is called a hinny. Did you know?
The what?
Hinny, a male horse and a female donkey. It's called a hinny.
A hinny?
They're much rarer. When the female horse gives birth to a mule, 99.99% of female mules are sterile, and the males are invariably sterile, but they don't know they are. So they have to be gelded so that they don't shag all the time. What about donkey's milk? Do you know anything about that?
Donkey milk?
Yeah.
It probably makes an amazing cheese.
Well, oddly enough, it's the one thing it doesn't.
No.
But Phil, come on, you're naive. Sometimes, honestly...
I want donkey cheese!
In India, they have always in the countryside fed babies on donkey's milk. It's very nutritious indeed. It contains oligosaccharides, which are very, very good for you and have all kinds of immuno-helpful things, don't they, Dr. Garden?
I'm sure they do, yeah. They're good for bathing in, too, isn't Cleopatra in ass's milk?
She was in ass's milk, absolutely, in pure donkey's milk. Poppaea, the wife of Nero, 300 donkeys were milked to fill her bath.
Big girl, was she?
Big girl, yes. What sort of hair does an underground fluffer deal with?
Is it anything to do with the tube? Is it underground as in...
Is the right answer. You avoided our trap. Nothing to do with films and pornography or anything.
Is it to do with cleaning the rails?
Cleaning the rails,
Gangs of 6 every night go down, gather up the hair. 30-mile-an-hour winds come when a train enters the station, and a lot of hair gets blown down into the tunnels. And
yeah, that's how I lost mine, actually. Most of it is Tottenham Court Road on the
And it's statically attracted to the rail, isn't it?
Well, it's a prime cause of fire.
I don't understand why you can't have... You know, like you used to have a cleaning tape for your cassette deck.
Yes.
I can't have a cleaning tube. You just send a big furry train down.
Well, that's the fluffers. What's happened to fluffers in the porn industry?
They're no longer used.
Yes, why would that be?
I wish... David, why is that? Porn industry, I feel it's your question.
It's a VAT issue.
Health and safety as well, I think.
It's something else beginning with V. Viagra. Done them out of business. The fluffer, for those who don't know, was the person in a porn film whose job it was to excite the membrum virile of the male artiste.
And then turn it into an apron.
That's it. Yes, fluffers clean the tracks, they save lives and they stop trains running late. It's a really tough and underappreciated job, and I think they deserve a round of applause from us. Hooray!